Hi there, and welcome to Worth a Thousand Words, the photography show which brings you the stories behind the images. This episode is part 2 of our waterfall adventure throughout the incredible Pacific Northwest. So if you happen to miss the first part, be sure to check out the link in the show notes below. This next part of our journey takes us to one of the most colossal waterfalls in all of North America, and our story begins in the temperate rainforests of Oregon. The Pacific Northwest is home to some of the best waterfalls in the nation. And as a bonus, the vast majority of these falls are surrounded by giant temporal rainforests. Pretty much everywhere you turn, a thick layer of emerald moss covers the forest floors. There's a lot of hiking in this area, and a lot of great opportunities for landscape photography, even before you reach the waterfall you're looking for. Our first destination takes us into the heart of the Three Sisters Wilderness. Proxy Falls is a lone giant which drops 220 feet over black volcanic rock and into a misty valley which is teeming with life. I really like this destination because not only is it a giant waterfall, but there's also an immense amount of detail within the cascades. The base of the falls is crisscrossed with generations of fallen trees which are slowly being overtaken by bright green moss. The sheer size of this waterfall makes it one of the more difficult locations for photography. The cascading water kicks up a huge amount of spray, which flows down the valley like a sideways rainstorm, soaking any camera lens in its path. It takes a lot of patience to be able to pull off a shot in this kind of environment, and you can forget about staying dry. But hang in there for that one moment of clear air, and the results are absolutely astounding. From the Three Sisters Wilderness, we head northwest for a quick detour along the coast. The Oregon shore is legendary for big waves and unusual geological formations. Cape Perpetua is home to a rugged expanse of coastline, which could easily be mistaken for Hawaii. As the tide rolls in, the black volcanic shores are filled with all kinds of remarkable formations, which make for dramatic images. Thor's Well has long been a favorite among landscape photographers. This lava crater drinks up waves like a hungry sea monster. Catch the tide just right, and a long exposure gives you a rare glimpse of a one-of-a-kind saltwater cascade. Farther north, the cliffs of Cape Kiwanda offer up yet another dramatic clash of ocean waves upon the volcanic shores. When the tide rolls in, a series of saltwater cascades are created along the rocky coast, and as the sun sets to the west, foaming seawater is starkly contrasted against the golden-orange landscape, and a whole new set of saltwater falls emerge to put on a show for the camera. The Columbia River Gorge is home to the largest concentration of waterfalls in all of North America. They come in all shapes and sizes, and are almost always surrounded by brilliant emerald forest. Many of the Columbia River tributaries have cut narrow slot canyons into the landscape, which can also make for very dramatic scenes. Our expedition for falling water takes us south of the gorge, to the Mount Hood open space, where yet another lone giant lives deep in the forest. Water crashes over the basalt columns of Ramona Falls, creating a range of spectacular details which are best explored with a telephoto lens. Despite its massive size, this waterfall actually has patches of dry air near the bottom, which are free of the blasting spray. Even though you're likely to get soaked with rain on the hike in, having a bit of relief from the spray gives you the opportunity to get right up close and personal with a nice dry lens, and that makes all the difference in the world when capturing this spectacular location. Next, we head northeast along the Columbia River towards Washington State. There are a number of interesting locations along the way, which help to break up the journey between waterfall destinations. Many of the forests along Oregon's northern border make for great landscape opportunities. But since we are searching for waterfalls, our next stop takes us to Panther Creek in southern Washington. Here we find yet another cascade emanating straight out of the forest walls. This is a remote destination which looks like it belongs more to a primordial prehistoric era than to a modern-day planet Earth. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was really hoping that some lost species of dinosaur was gonna come out of the forest at any moment. Needless to say, you'll probably have to make do with just the falls. Fortunately, they are nothing short of sensational. And with the last waterfall on our list finally checked off, it's time to head home. Well, there you have it. 2 full episodes dedicated to waterfalls, and it's still just barely a taste of what the mighty Pacific Northwest has to offer. Thank you so much for joining us, and always remember, the camera will take you places you never imagined. I certainly hope you've enjoyed our little adventure. Thank you so much for joining us. And iPhone, seriously? Oh. Almost done! Almost! Ha! Silent. Take that. Probably should have led with that. I mean, he would have to be a nice dinosaur. Obviously not the kind that eats other dinosaurs. Or people. I have waded up some creeks in my day. This one is by far the coldest. This water started off as snow up in Mount Hood. Cannot feel my feet.